Today I want to talk to you, and I'm really reaching out to the parents out there, the ones who just got their acceptance letter from UCF and now are doing the math on housing. Because here's what I want you to consider. Writing that check every month for rent versus actually helping your student/child build equity, and in 4 years, what that could look like. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Hey everyone, Ray Lopez here with the Ray Lopez team at Keller Williams here in beautiful Orlando, Florida. Here's the situation a lot of families find themselves in once they get that acceptance letter. Your son or daughter gets into a major college. Today, we're talking about UCF. And by the way, congratulations, that's quite an accomplishment. Well, now you start looking at the financial side of that with everything and what it's going to cost. Housing happens to be one of the biggest things that you're going to end up having to deal with. The next call you need to figure out is that your child going to be in a dorm? Is he going to be in an apartment? Should you actually buy something for them to be in and then rent rooms? Well, let's talk about what that looks like. Because when you start looking at dorm rentals, you're probably talking $4,000 to $5,000 per semester, or they could live off-site, a one-bedroom right around UCF. You're probably looking at $1,400 to $1,600, maybe even $1,800. They could go in with a friend. Now you're at $2,200, $2,400. The reality is, in 4 years, that's $70,000 to $80,000 with no return, no equity, no nothing. Here's another scenario, and this is something that my son, when he went to the University of Florida, he ended up staying in a dorm and getting the college life the first year. Year two, he had enough of the college life and he wanted to go out on his own. And that's when we decided to do what we're going to talk about today. What if you were to help your child purchase a condo/home? I personally am a fan of the single family home for resale. Around UCF, you can actually buy a $400,000 house. Your child could actually be on the mortgage with you if you don't have enough cash, which most people do not. Well, at that point, you'd put 5% down, let's call it $20,000. Your mortgage would be right around $380,000 as far as what you're financing. Let's just say right now, 6.5% interest rate. It could be lower, could be a little higher, but 6.5 is a really good rate because you're getting primary residence because your student's going to live in the house. More importantly, because they're going to be living in the house, they will be able to homestead the house. So the tax rate can't go up any more than 3% a year. They get the $50,000 homestead credit. So your taxes will be in check because your primary living student is on the mortgage and on the title. So the job is they live in the master bedroom. Then we end up renting the other 3 rooms for $1,000 a room. Kids that want to live off-site have no problem renting a room for $1,000 because they get the use of a house versus a dorm or an apartment, which is really, really nice. Those 3 at $1,000 will cover your mortgage. The scenario that we're talking about, the mortgage is sitting at about $2,400. Then you have to factor in taxes and insurance. Let's just call it $3,000. You rent the 3 rooms, you're covered for the year. Let's talk about what this could actually look like in 4 years. I've done the math. On a $400,000 house, you put $20,000 down, that's the down payment. Of course, you're going to have to come up with closing costs. In today's market, sometimes you can actually get help from the seller to cover some or all of your closing costs. And in the 4-year period, your mortgage pay down, because the 3 rooms are going to help you pay your mortgage and or pay it completely. The principal reduction is $20,000 during that 4 years. So at this point, your principal in 4 years is sitting at about $360,000. At a very conservative 4% appreciation rate, your $400,000 house in 4 years will actually be worth $468,000. So the equity buildup in the next 4 years for your child will be $108,000. Now think about this. This is a different financial picture than a million years ago when I went to school. I wish my parents would have actually thought about this, and me being able to have $100,000 in equity, whether I wanted to sell it and do whatever I wanted to do with that $100,000, I could actually continue to live in it. I could continue to rent rooms. It will still be paid for by the tenants. But more importantly, what a great launch point that your student would actually have. I've been working in the Central Florida market for over 20 years. And more importantly, my office is about 3 miles from University of Central Florida. I've been helping parents do this for their children for about 15 of those 20 years. We are working in zip codes right around UCF. We're looking at 32817, 32828, 32765, all the areas right around there, Waterford Lakes, the Alafaya area, Stony Brook, in Oviedo. This is what I want you to understand. This is a great way to help your child actually get something out of going to college outside of just a degree. So if you can help them build equity, for me, it was helping my child with their financial sense in that they had to take care of the bills. They had to help me rent the rooms. And in return, when he graduated, he was rewarded with a lot of equity, and it gave him a fresh head start outside of just having his degree. Again, my name is Ray Lopez. I would love to talk to you about this because it's a free consultation. If you like what you're hearing, I would love for you to like this video. I'd love for you to subscribe to our channel. We come up with great content every week. Let's get your child in a head start. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.